still world final tickets up for grabs. And if we were to, those were to be handed out at Zuera, they would have gone to Gary Donnelly and Glenn Van Paris second and third. But there really is 5 drivers in it, and if Jessica Batman has a really good weekend, she has a chance maybe as well. So 6 drivers there that we'll be watching. So Gary Donnelly 161, Van Paris 157, White 155, then Van Kampfu and Dre Spring 151, Backman 139. So those are the drivers then to watch out for. And you just saw Josh White heading through your shot. Well, where did those drivers finish in the first race? Well, Gary Donnelly, of course, as we touched on, crashed out at turn 1. Van Paris was 4th place. Josh White was 11th. Renus Van Kampfu was 6th. Dre Spring was 5th. And Backman was 3rd. So of those, Backman had the best first heat. Well, let's run through the grid then. Lars Lamberel is on pole position. He took 2nd in the first heat. Gary Donnelly is alongside. Besler won the first heat. He is starting 3rd with Adrian Renadan alongside. Then it's Glenn Van Paris and Jordan Brown-Nutley. Renus Van Kampfu and Dennis Mavlanoff. Rounding out the top 10 is Joel de Puch and Ruud Beidendijk. Jessica Backman, who was 3rd in the first heat, is on the inside of row 6. Alongside her is Christopher Dre Spring. Then it's Kai Van Berlo and Josh White. Jack McCarthy, who moved forward well in the first heat, is on the inside of row 8 with Jan Bouvier alongside. Then it's Josh Skelton and Thomas Drouet, Daniel Makacek and Ido Cohen, Baptiste Moulin, and Felix Kotick. Then it's Andrew Williamson and Jacques Missimili, Paul Evrard and Roman Jalou, Bastien Cochette and Oliver Rasmussen are row 14. Row 15 is Zach Falk and Tom Croydon. Then it's Antoine Antier, Michael Stopinski, and rounding out the field is Stephanie Levis-Cont. So then it's going to be an 11-lap race, this heat number 2. On the front row, Lars Lamberel will be to the left of your picture. To the right will be Gary Donnelly. Can he make it through safely first time? We're off and racing, and Gary Donnelly, like he did in the first heat, trying to come over, but he's got through this time. Besler has gone to 2nd. Donnelly has slotted into 3rd place. Oh, and Josh White's come off. A couple of other drivers have come off. Josh White was off on the inside of the corner. One of the CRG drivers is off on the exit of turn 2. It's really stretched the lead group. In fact, Lars Lamberel leads. Besler is in 2nd. 3rd. Now, can't quite see. Let's try and pick it up in the pictures. At the moment, the live stream will be showing the static camera. Now we can have a view of who it is. Well, it's Gary Donnelly in 3rd place. I think that's Glenn Van Paris in 4th place. 5th is Renus Van Kampfu. Then it's Adrian Renadan. They head towards the, they're going to head now down, back straight down towards the penultimate corner. So it's Lamberel, Besler, then it's Donnelly. So Donnelly, a much better start this time he could do with taking a win here to really get himself as far up the order as he can, because he would have been, well, his points are going to be, he's truly going to suffer from that first heat. Let's see if he can take 2nd from Besler going into turn 2. Well, Besler goes up the inside of Lamberel. Donnelly has gone with him. Donnelly's going to take the lead. He's going to try the outside. Well, Donnelly has taken the lead. They're all there. Renus Van Kampfu's going round the outside at turn 4. Oh, there's contact. One of them spun. Renus Van Kampfu ran wide. Now, I have a feeling that could be Berke Besler or Glenn Van Paris who came off at turn 4. Leading is Gary Donnelly as they head down towards the far part of the circuit. Well, that is Glenn Van Paris in 2nd place. So, I have a very bad feeling that's Berke Besler who's not going to go any further. 3rd place is Lars Lamberel. Then it's Renadan. Then it's Van Kampfu. I think Brown-Nutley is there in 6th place. They head up towards the last corner now. Dennis Mavlanoff is behind Brown-Nutley. Then it's Renus Van Kampfu. And then I think it's Josh Skelton as they head across the start-finish line. Gary Donnelly leads the way. So it's Van Paris, Lamberel, Renadan. Oh, and a change for lead. Van Paris up the inside of Gary Donnelly and takes the lead. Gary Donnelly's been able to hold on to 2nd. Now, that was Van Berlo, I think, off and nearly collecting the likes of Dre Spring and a couple of others as well. Change for lead as we head down the towards turn 5. So taking the lead there was, retaking the lead then was Gary Donnelly. Van Paris is in second place. Renadan there is in third, and Renadan goes to second. Adrian Renadan through to second place. Brown Nutley's going to try and take third, and takes third. So Van Paris dropping a few places there. He was also passed by Dennis Mavlin off the number 210 cart. So a comfortable lead all of a sudden for Gary Donnelly. And the drivers behind now really need to start working together. Adrian Renadan, you can't miss him. He's in the all blue livery, blue suit and blue helmet as they head through turn 1. Will there be any changes at turn 2? Yes, well, that's Lars Lamberel going from 6th to 5th. Passes Glenn Van Paris. Renus Van Kamp, who's having to defend from Jack McCarthy. Josh Skelton having a much better race. He is in 9th place. Baptiste Moulin is in 10th place. We have then Drake Spring, Bouvier, Van Berlo, Drouet, and I think a change for second then. Brown Nutley's gone through to second. You saw it on the screens. Oh, but Renadan's come back at him. Brown Nutley runs wide. So Dennis Mavlinoff is now through to third place. So the order for now is Gary Donnelly, Adrian Renadan, then it is Dennis Mavlinoff and Jordan Brown Nutley. Glenn Van Paris and Renus Van Kamp are next. Then it is Lars Lamberel, Jack McCarthy and Josh Skelton. Where has he come from? Said he's had a really good race this time. Has found a real turn of pace since the first heat. He was quick in practice. So Josh Skelton there in 9th place at the moment. In 10th place is Baptiste Moulin. Then it's Dre Spring. And as they head up towards turn 2, Adrian Renadan defending. All of this allowed. Oh, and Renadan's run wide at turn 3. That's given second place to Dennis Mavlinoff. Brown Nutley has gone through to third, and Renadan has been able to hold on to fourth. But there goes Brown Nutley. Then you can see it on the camera. There he goes up the inside. Renadan's going to lose a place as well. Well, that was an attempted pass from Van Paris. He ran wide, lost a place again, and now Renus Van Kamp does the same as him. He tries to take a place and nearly loses a place to Jack McCarthy. Now they run wide, and Lars Lamberel gets back through. Josh Skelton has now made places. Well, it's changing every single corner. Gary Donnelly, meanwhile, is leading by over a second. Jordan, oh, and Josh Skelton just running into the back of Renus Van Kamp there. He made the place, but he was certainly trying to go up the inside, and Renus has lost 2 places as a result. There's Gary Donnelly in shot. There's the battle for around 5th or 6th place that you're now seeing. Oh, and 2 drivers have come together at turn 2. Christopher Drayspring is one of them. Who is the other? Well, I cannot figure it. I think it might be Baptiste Moulin, the other driver. Gary Donnelly's lead must be around 2 seconds. Let's well, it's on your screen. You can see it is 2 seconds. Second place is Jordan Brown Nutley. Then it's Mavlinoff and Renadan. So well, Brown Nutley to Renadan is around 0.6 of a second as they make their way down towards the left-hander. They're onto the back straight. We're only about halfway through this race, so plenty of more action still to come. Lamberel is now 5th. Skelton is 6th. There's an almighty battle for 7th, which is not on your screen, but it's in the background. You may see it come through the picture any second. Well, that's the battle for 2nd. The camera's following there. Warning flag for Thomas Drouet, but you would have just seen it flash past. The battle for 7th place. Jack McCarthy's trying to make a place on Glenn Van Paris, so it's the battle for 7th. Well, take a breath. On screen then, there goes your leader. Oh, and Renadan trying to come up the inside. You could see him in the all-blue livery. Tried to go up the inside of Dennis Mavlinoff. Didn't work. So they're on screen at the moment. The 210, that is Mavlinoff. And Renadan in the all-blue livery there. Now behind, that is Lars Lamberel, who started on pole. He is in 5th place. Skelton. Then it's Van Paris, McCarthy, Van Kamp, Bachmann. Well, Bachmann has not had a good start to this race. We've lost one of the Coles Racing drivers, which is Tom Croydon. We've also lost Baptiste Moulin, among others. Renadan has the fastest lap of the race. There goes the battle for 2nd into turn 1. And still a few laps to go. As they exit there, they go into turn 3. Past the stranded, what I think is Berke Besler. I'll be able to confirm that for you in a second. It is Besler, Joel DePuch, Ruud Bidendijk, Ido Cohen, Tom Groyden, Baptiste Moulin, Zach Falk, all out the race. So we have lost a fair few drivers now. Just trying to see the progress of Jessica Bachmann, because she was 3rd in that first heat. She's now 10th behind Rinus van Kampfvoet. And we'll keep an eye and see if she can make any more places. Adrian Renaudin is going purple on this lap, as is Lars Lamberel. Lars Lamberel, teammate to Jordan Brown-Nutley. He finished 2nd at Zuera. Brown-Nutley won. And as they come across the line, well, the gap from Renaudin to Lamberel goes up. It was 7/10 of a second. It's now 8/10 of a second. Gary Donnelly goes into turn number 3, the number 266. There goes the battle for second. You can just see it go through your shot now. There's Josh Skelton. You ought to just see him go through. He is 6th place. He's gained 11 places, but he's being caught by Glenn Van Paris and Jack McCarthy, so he's got to be careful. The gap between them is 7/10 of a second. We'll monitor that and see if that comes down on this lap. He's only got around 2 or 3 laps to hold on, as Josh Skelton, but he is being caught hand over fist here. As the battle for second, you can see on your pictures now, Brown-Nutley, Mavlanoff, Renaudin. Renaudin looks like he is shaping up Mavlanoff, lining up Mavlanoff for a move here. It could come at turn 2 next time round. That's the last corner, they're going out. There's the start-finish straight. There goes Donnelly. Penultimate lap now for Gary Donnelly. There goes Renaudin. Look at him. Will he go up the inside? No. Well, it was covered off by Dennis Mavlanoff. Now Renaudin tries into turn 3 and makes the move. Adrian Renaudin through to 3rd place. What can Mavlanoff do in response? Will we move to the stat? There's the static camera. So there's your leader then. Brown-Nutley's there in 2nd. Oh, and another change for 3rd. That was Dennis Mavlanoff up the inside of Renaudin, but he's run wide, and will he lose more places? Yes, well, he's lost another place to Lars Lamberel. You would have just seen in the background Josh Skelton now under pressure from Jack McCarthy, and also Jessica Bachmann is now behind Rinus van Kampfvoet, but Jack McCarthy then, he's past Glenn Van... Well, he's not past Glenn Van Paris, he's behind Glenn Van Paris. They're both behind Josh Skelton, who's having to defend, but Mavlanoff hasn't done himself any favours. There goes the last lap board for Gary Donnelly. You just see him flash past, and that picture gives you an idea of his lead. 1.7 seconds. That's what it looks like in senior Rotax at Salbris. The top 5 I can't see changing. Oh, but 6th place will. Josh Skelton looks like him and Glenn Van Paris both ran wide. Jack McCarthy said thank you very much. So as we stay on the static camera, you can see there goes Gary Donnelly, Brown-Nutley, Renaudin, Lamberel and Mavlanoff. And now that should have been Josh Skelton. It's now Jack McCarthy, but he is in fact 3 karts behind McCarthy as Van Paris went through, as did Rinus van Kampfvoet. He's now having to defend from Jessica Bachmann. So now trying to just hold on to 9th place, but only 2 corners to go for the leader. There's the first one. Now the last corner. Gary Donnelly crashed out in the first race. This is exactly what he needed to do. Gary Donnelly takes the victory. 2nd place goes to Jordan Brown-Nutley. 3rd to Adrian Renaudin. 4th goes to Lars Lamberel. Dennis Mavlanoff finishes 5th. 6th place goes to Jack McCarthy. 7th to Glenn Van Paris. Then it's Rinus van Kampfvoet. Josh Skelton did hold on tonight. Then it's Jessica Bachmann, Thomas Drouet, Kai van Berlo, Daniel Makacek, Jan Bouvier, Paul Evrard, Jacques Missimili, Roman Jaloux was next along. Then it was Bastien Cochette. Rasmussen was 19th. 20th, Oliver Rasmussen. And there was Michael Stopinski, Stephanie Leviscont, Josh White, Andre Williamson, Felix Kotick, Antoine Antier with 25th place. And then unfortunately some of the non-finishers. So there you see first through to 12th on your screens now. Donnelly, Brown-Nutley, Renaudin, Lamberel, Mavlanoff, McCarthy, Van Paris, Van Kampfvoet. We got to Stephanie Levers-Cont on the, as I was reading them out before. Josh White was 22nd, Williamson, Felix Kotick 24th. Look at that, 6 French drivers, 14th to 19th. Bouvier, Everard, Missimilli. Antoine Antier 25th. Dre Spring was 26th. Zach Falk, well, I thought we lost him. It's Tom Croydon who we lost from the race. Baptiste Moulin we also lost, along with Ido Cohen and Berke Besler. Zach Falk finished in 27th place. Well, there were a lot of good movers, a lot of high movers in that race. That's the overall view of Salbris.